Woohoo! Ah, okay. Here we are. Oh
Here
my
we
goodness.
are.
Here we are. I feel like that's an important thing to say. Everyone, here we are. We're all still here.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, we wanted to talk about myself and Umoh today, a bit about the energies of this year and the astrology of this year, and really just kind of flow in some support. I feel like this, the more that we converse and talk about things, the more awareness, the more that we can share, the more that we can feel like we're in this together. Because I feel like this year, personally for me, feels like I'm stepping up into being able to be more in a community mindset, a community just kind of more openness and groundedness in community and trusting in community and trusting in each other, and I feel like that has something to do with the Aquarian energy of
Totally.
like letting go of, because I actually had an experience where I was feeling like my higher mind was wanting to kind of shift some beliefs that I was still having
Mhm.
about the old way of being with the systems of the strategy. And then I was feeling, wow, this is very Aquarius. I feel like I'm being, asked, okay, we got to leave this behind now.
Mhm.
And kind of going through in my meditation in the morning, a kind of resetting, and I feel like that's what I've been going through, which has been really amazing to kind of be aware of and to choose to go, okay, I am going to choose this, even if it feels challenging and scary and all the other things, because we are definitely shifting. I mean, so quickly into a new way, whether or
Mhm.
not we know what that way is, it's calling us all to change the
Mhm.
way that we've operated and the ways that don't just really don't work anymore.
Yes,
Systematic.
especially for women. So, I mean, it doesn't really work for anybody, but it really doesn't work for us, you know? And
Yeah.
so, like, yeah, one of the biggest transits of the year is Pluto has moved into Aquarius officially, right? So that moved in on January 20th. We're gonna stay in it's gonna stay into Aquarius until I think September. So we're going to be in it for most of the year, but then we're going to take a dip back into Capricorn one last time, the end of the year, and then after that, it basically is going to be in Aquarius for the next 20 years.
Okay.
Yeah, so it's a pretty big transit, pretty powerful, arguably the biggest transit of the year, the decade. It's a big deal. So yeah,
Mm.
very big shift in energy. And so we're shifting from Capricorn to Aquarius. So Capricorn is very traditional.
Yeah.
Capricorn is like one of the most traditional signs. Capricorn is like top-down power, right?
Mm.
And Aquarius is all about decentralized power. It's
Mm.
about the collective, it's about, this person is just as valuable as that person. We're all equal, like, you know,
Mhm.
that sort of thing. And not necessarily from a place of, um, I think people get the word equal confused.
Mm.
That when someone is of equal value, that doesn't mean that they're not allowed to be different.
Yeah.
Right? And that is one thing that Aquarius also does is Aquarius honors the difference,
Mhm.
right? And so Aquarius is for the collective and it's for the people, and it does bring that more collective energy and orientation versus the hierarchical like dynamics of Capricorn, which is like Capricorn is about the boss, right? I'm the boss and you do this because I said so. And
Mm.
that's not the energy of Aquarius at all,
Mm.
right? Um, and then Capricorn is Earth. It's much slower moving.
Yes.
Aquarius is an air sign, so it's just like whoosh. So there's a
Mm.
lot of big, fast,
Yeah.
totally different energy in the air than what we've had basically for the past
Mhm.
whatever 15, 16 years. Since 2008 is how long we have pretty much had Pluto in Capricorn.
Mhm.
So yeah, I mean, there's other stuff, and I'll say more about that other stuff, but that piece is huge, you know. And it's a little bit disorienting right now because it is still winter time. We do still have a lot of planets in Capricorn. But then we have the Pluto energy and these other energies that I'm going to talk about that are like pulling the energy forward really fast. And it's still winter time. You know?
Yeah.
So it can be a little discombobulating, right? Of like
Yeah.
totally new kind of energy, fast moving energy, you know, mixed with all the new year kind of hype, but also like anxiety,
Yeah.
you know, of like, am I gonna get my goals, and what do I need to do different, and who do I need to show up as? And it can be very stressful, right? So we were talking about before we started recording, we were both talking about being like sick and low energy, which I just want to say I think is probably pretty normal right now with all this big energy moving.
Yeah.
And we were talking about like, you know, but then this is something that I think is important, and this is something I've talked about in my live that I did an hour-long live about the year. But one of the things I talked about is that this energy this year is much more masculine than last year. So it's very right. And so for us as non-masculine people, we're going to have to spend more energy and time this year to make sure that we're being grounded, that we're being embodied, that we are nourishing our physical selves, that we're resting, that our self-care is high, because this energy is going to be pulling us so much in the opposite direction that we can kind of get lost in the wind, so to speak,
Yeah.
if we
Yes.
don't like make sure to like consciously take that time to like put our roots down and anchor ourselves. Yes, we want to be flexible, but we don't want to be totally ungrounded, you know. So that's another piece. The Aquarius is all about change. Everything this year is changing. It's going to keep changing. Aquarius is the unexpected. It's a surprise. So we're not going to know what's going to happen this year. Like that, one thing is certain is that we won't know what the fuck is going on.
Yeah. I mean, you can just feel that anyway, can't you? It's like, what?
Yes.
What?
Yes. So
The
it's
collective what?
exactly. So we really need to like stay flexible and supple, but also have our roots so that we're not just like flailing in the wind of the Aquarius air intensity, you know.
Yeah.
And then like all the fiery masculine energy that's also coming in.
Yeah, that's, because I think we're both Aquarius rising. We find that out a lot of time.
Yeah.
And I'm Capricorn sun, so I have this weird, I
So
think,
it's
going
hitting
on
you
for
from
me.
both sides.
I'm like, whoa. I'm feeling, yeah, I am definitely feeling it massively. When you were saying that kind of the wind and the flightiness of Aquarius, that's something I've had to really work on in my life in general, because there is such a kind of like, yes, for change, and then you kind of go, but if you're not like grounding all the time, it can just feel like you're, yeah, spinning circles around yourself, or
Exactly.
nothing sticking. That's also feels like an important thing to say, is that if you have all these ideas or you're feeling a lot of change, like, we need to ground that, because otherwise we will just feel like we're kind of driving ourselves mad. And that's okay. But that's like a reminder to say, okay, I need to stop. If you're feeling like there's a lot of mental energy, which is what I've been experiencing, like, that, and then there's this, and then you're just kind of spinning out. Yeah, coming back to the body, coming back to stillness, coming back to letting go, coming back to letting go of control, because I feel like that when we get up into that space in our minds, we can start getting really kind of stressed about having to know everything. And I feel like that's been going on a lot with people around me and clients and friends talking about this, being that you were talking about anxiety. It felt like kind of another level of like, I'm feeling like I don't know what's going on, and that can bring up anxiety and then a lot of thinking. So yeah, getting into your body, really kind of giving yourself, I would say, like a definite body practice a day, like time to connect with your body, do some movement, do some centering every single day, because that's what I've been doing over the past couple of weeks, because I felt so much change and it's really helped me. Otherwise, I think I would have been in a different place. Because there has been so much mental energy and stimulation and just like you said, just kind of wind flipping up everything, whisking up everything, and kind of spinning it around.
Yeah, exactly. And so yeah, just also just like normalizing, like, you know, because we kind of have this like idea that we're supposed to like, or we think like everyone else is fine and just we're only ones that are having a hard time. So a lot of people are having a hard time. Like it's anytime you have a big shift or a big energy, it's a challenge. Even if you like it, even if it's like, you know, feels good or whatever, it's still like a challenge, it's still like a stressor to your system, right? Also with the air energy, I do feel like it's calling for like a refinement of how we interact with our nervous systems, you know. You know, along those lines of everything we're saying. And like just, and going back to just like giving yourself permission, like it's okay if you feel anxious, like it's okay if you're like a little bit off center, and it's like there's nothing wrong with you. It doesn't mean you're not going to get your goals. It doesn't mean that like you're off course or you're not doing what you're supposed to in life, or like you know you're not going to get the goals or the clients or whatever. Like just give yourself permission to throw that all away and just let yourself like feel whatever you're feeling, and don't like create a story around what it means, and just let it be like the normal thing that it actually is, you know?
Yeah, that's something else we talked about, was perfectionism, wasn't it? Like getting into that state of, well, why isn't everything lining up? Or I have this idea, or it needs to line up. Any ideas of perfectionism, I feel like this is another invitation to just like that doesn't even exist. Perfectionism doesn't exist. It's this idea that we have I don't know, just being kind of conditioned to believe is something. Really not. There's no perfect way to do anything or rigid way that you need to get anything. And yeah, loosening up on that perfectionism, something that I am really concentrating in all of my work this year is messiness, is really embracing the mess, to understand how that actually opens us up to more of our potential and our clarity and our health and our connection. Because if we're constantly feeling like we're doing something wrong, or we are feeling like that mess is not right, we get so kind of,
Like
can just be so unpleasant.
Yeah.
Just not be fun. And then we're realizing we're like subconsciously that we're doing that all the time and giving ourselves a hard time. And so when we kind of bring that into the forefront and go, actually, no, fuck the perfectionism. I give myself permission to really explore this messiness. And that's kind of exciting. And let's get curious about it. How can it support me? How can I feel good in not being right all the time, or not getting it right all the time? And how can that kind of keep me moving forward and growing? Because I feel like that is life. That is life. Getting things wrong and getting them right, and doing the whole, the full spectrum. So being able to that feels the most true for me this year, is just throw out that perfectionism idea and really, yeah, start to get curious about your potential and the kind of just magic of what is gonna happen.
Yeah, exactly. Instead of like, oh my God, I'm so scared, what's gonna happen, to like exciting and like, ooh, what's gonna happen? Like, let it be like a turn on, like it means like an
Yeah,
exciting surprise, you know what I mean?
yeah.
Even
Such a
though,
different way of thinking, isn't it?
yeah, exactly. Yeah. And like definitely Aquarius goes with Aquarius is the outcast, the rebel, the eccentric genius. Aquarius does not draw inside the lines and follow the rules. So
Yeah.
that energy definitely is supportive of us being like in our fullness and our messiness, in that spirit of exploration and experimentation, and like that wonder, and even like kind of that innocence.
Yeah.
And that's part of why kids like can learn so much faster, right? And that's why they can absorb things and
Mhm.
master things at a higher rate. Yes, part of it is about brain elasticity, but also it's just about the approach of oh, like, what about, like, what is this thing, and just looking at it from that kind of like innocent place and playing with it instead of
Mhm.
like working it all the time.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
It's like we can just also play with it and see what happens,
Yeah.
and like that's kind of an approach I take a lot of times with my clients. When it's like something comes up, I'm like, okay, well, let's just play with it, and like let's look at it this way and this way and that way. And then by the end of it, it's like I don't know what the answer is when we first start talking, you know we just play with it, explore and ask questions, and then the
Mhm.
answer emerges,
Yeah.
you know
That's how it works, isn't
yeah,
it?
it's not
That
like
is,
I have all the answers at all times and
yeah.
everything's figured out, and like sometimes we think that's like the expectation for ourselves, when it's
Mm.
like highly unrealistic, and no one
Yeah.
actually is like that all the time.
No.
No.
No. It's so true. I really think that we learn this in community.
Mhm.
You know how we can say, "Oh yeah, just just loosen up and get messy," and you just one person going, "Okay, well, how do I do that?" And it's like actually community is the place that we need to come to do that together. Because
Mhm.
otherwise, it's too much pressure again, too much pressure on
Am I
us to
am I
figure
doing my
out.
messiness right?
Like, how do I get messy right now? I could just roll around and then what happens next? And it's the feedback, isn't it? When we're doing it
Yes.
together in community, there's a feedback, there's a like reflection, there's a joy in exploring that together. There's like an opening, there's just a lot of inspiration that comes from working together.
Mhm.
And I feel that's what I'm sensing with this Aquarius energy is just, oh yeah, look at like how much we can do when we work together and we lean in. And we're kind of all working for yeah, the highest good.
Mhm.
And also, to see to see the potential. Like I keep this potential word keeps coming through. It's like let's get excited about the potential rather than holding on and dragging and being dragged through the past that doesn't work anymore and still trying to work it, like you're saying, grind with the old thing that just clearly doesn't work anymore.
Mhm.
How do we just like go, okay, I let go of that, I let go of focusing on that all of the time and how I can make it work, and now I'm going to go with a kind of openness and a forward motion and explore and kind of get in a alignment, I suppose, get in line to what it is that I'm feeling or that I'm ready for as an individual, and how can I work together with other people.
Mhm.
Just that just feels so much better when you go, ah, I'm doing this with other people or in a group, or I'm going to learn from them, they're going to learn from me, it's going to be great. It's just, it's, you know, that like everything in nature is connected, and Gaia works together with everything as one. And it's like, remember, we're able to do that too. It's just, it's a process, isn't it? Because we've been so kind of cut off from one another, and only been able to work in certain ways with that hierarchical system. But we can do it. Everything in nature is showing us that we can do it.
Yeah, exactly. Nothing in nature like operates within a vacuum, you know, everything's connected. And like we were saying earlier, I think this was before we started the recording, we're talking about like how as entrepreneurs we can just be like really isolated and in our little bubbles, and then it's easy to like get stuck in your head and like create like these monsters, and it's like and it's like, oh, once you can like be with other people and like just name it, it's like everyone's like, oh yeah, I deal with that bullshit too. And it's like, oh, what? Oh, like I'm not crazy. I'm not a lost cause because this is coming up or whatever, like stories. It's like easy to get stuck in, spiral in when you're in that isolation, you know?
So I think that is 100% what I'm feeling. It's like we need to stop spending so much time in our own minds on our own, and more time just like processing stuff together.
Yeah.
Because even you just saying that, it's like, for me. And what I'm saying is like, for you. And
Yeah.
it's just really working on that. It's like, yes, this is like where I'm feeling, this is what I'm feeling is good and nourishing, and like we're all, we're benefiting from this, and we're all bringing our kind of unique perspective. And
Yeah.
I feel that with women's circle, like that's how I've learned so much, is through all of my years of holding women's circles and go and being a part of them. That's how we've shifted so much conditioning, and
Yeah.
how we've healed over the past, however many years, is because we've been showing up going, this is what I'm feeling, and being brave enough to say that. And then
Right.
others being like, oh my gosh, I'm not alone, me
Yeah.
too.
Just
And
like,
then it's like, whoa,
yes,
breaking down the system from
totally.
inside.
Just from that willingness to like speak it into the space and be witnessed. And it's like, oh, and like I think sometimes because it seems like so simple, maybe we don't fully value how powerful it is.
Yeah.
You know, we think it has to be like more complicated. You
To
know?
be this huge thing all the time. Everything has to be like just this big
To do.
thing where it doesn't.
Well, I have an idea.
Yes.
Do you want to play with us, like just talking about our messiness?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Like, oh great.
Yeah. Okay. Um, I'll go first since it's my idea. And I'll just
Show me how it's done.
I don't know, I'm making it up, but we'll see. We'll see what happens.
Great.
Okay, so some of my messiness that I'm dealing with / playing with. I'm really working my edge of like being more visible as like more of my real self and my multi-dimensional self. Because I just, for me, like pandemic times like really threw me off my fucking center so big. And I know a lot of people like thrived. I wasn't one of those people. And like so much stuff happened. I won't even get into it. But I feel almost like a little bit like a newborn. And I feel almost like when I first started, when I was like so scared to say what I think and what I wanted to say, and like how people are going to react to it, you know. And plus we have like all these like after pandemic times way more levels of censorship, and it's like
Yes.
you're going to get canceled if you say this or and so for me that's like an edge that I'm really kind of like struggling with and pushing against, and also trying to give myself grace around of like I never have I'm never like, I don't have anything to say. I have so many things I want to say. Like I can't even get them out if I wanted to, you know? And there's so many things I want to talk about, but then I'm just like, I still have like some like, I don't know, throat chakra constriction. And I'm just also letting it be okay. And
Yeah.
knowing that I'm figuring it out and I'm just like kind of being in the process of it, you know?
Yeah.
And I'm
Yeah.
like refinding my voice.
Mm-hmm.
And like in that, it's also a gift
Mm.
because I get to refine it, you
Mm-hmm.
know, and I get to like recommit to myself and recommit to my truth and my authenticity, you know,
Mm-hmm.
and like who I am authentically now is not who I was authentically 4 years ago, you know?
Yeah.
And like we were
Mm-hmm.
talking about earlier, I was telling you how I got all my, not all, but a big portion of my um, videos and my recordings all deleted from Zoom. And it was like a horrible experience on one hand. And like, I was like, oh my God, I'm gonna die. All my life's work. But also like, it's good because it's like, okay, if I don't have this, what I've said before to cling to, what do I have to say
Yeah.
now? Who am I now? You know? So that's a big layer of my current messiness
Yeah.
that I am playing with slash struggling with.
Super powerful though, and amazing that you were given that like from Zoom going, and this is what you're doing. But sometimes it can be that kind of brutal. Like you're going through this process. So I'm just going to clear something that's holding you back,
Mhm,
which I definitely feel I've been through a lot of those sheddings
mhm,
um, since the beginning of this year. And I actually, I feel the same. I feel like I'm going through the same process as you
mm,
in that I'm refining myself because I had so much pressure. I put so much pressure on myself
mhm,
just my whole life, actually.
mhm.
And really realizing that that's not me. I don't believe in that. I really don't believe in like high stress level pressured environments.
Mhm,
Why am I doing that to myself? Why internally am I doing that to myself?
mhm,
And I would definitely say the last year, but really quickly, the beginning of this year, I've been like kind of shedding that and going through really, yeah, a kind of a push pull kind of fight because I think for me, there's this belief, well, if I don't do that, how am I going to get stuff done? So
mhm.
for me, there's been like this kind of internal masculine healing
Yes.
where I don't have to push, and that sound in my head is not the masculine.
Mhm,
That's not like helpful.
mhm,
That's not actually supporting you and nourishing you and moving you forward. That voice is eating away
mhm.
at you.
That's eating
And
away at your like like more masculine drive.
yeah,
And that would make you naturally be more motivated instead of like, you better get to fucking work.
yeah, yeah.
It's a little
So
dictator in our head.
exactly. It's so much like that voice has been for like years has been dimming and I've understood about it and I've been learning about it and my awareness, but now I'm feeling like I get to choose
Mhm,
that I don't have to talk to myself that way.
mhm,
And there are if I'm directing my energy into all the good, the flowing, the nourishing, the positive, even if I'm having an off day or I'm like, fuck it, I can't be bothered,
mhm,
that's different to
mhm,
like constantly giving yourself a hard time. So
mhm,
I've been kind of imagining that. Okay, well, what does that actually look like when I'm not being as hard on myself?
mhm,
And see, my throat's clearing. Um, and how does that look in the way that, yeah, I show up?
mhm,
And I've definitely had to go in. I mean, I always find that in the winter anyway. I'm pretty happy to just kind of okay, I don't need to be rushing around doing social things or anything.
Yeah.
But then also there is a thing where I feel too isolated, which is kind of what we're speaking into here. And then I just kind of everything starts feeling a bit like I'm going crazy because I'm not sharing enough with people. So it's great to have self-reflection, but if you're doing it too much, then you're like, I'm just mad. I
Yes.
don't know what like it's that mad genius thing that
Yes,
you said about
totally.
Aquarius.
Yes.
Ah,
Yes. And then or else it can just turn into like a little bit of like extreme navel gazing, you know?
yeah, extreme. And
And
that's not good.
it's like you feel like you're being you're being conscious, but then it's like no, you're just over fucking analyzing the fuck out of everything.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, that's what I do. I can definitely overanalyze any and everything.
Yeah. Squeeze the life out of it.
Yes.
Like, how much can I just like squeeze this thing with my brain?
And
It's so
I love that you brought that up because I do have that too, that like very strong inner dictator.
yeah.
And this is another big piece for me is like just owning that I'm actually very different. I'm very neurodivergent, and
Mm.
I'm very sensitive, and I have all my life been telling myself, get it together, try and pretend to be like everyone else, act like you can do this, get in line, put your mask on, you know. And it's like so hard to like deprogram, it's like you're saying, like that voice, right? And it's like, oh, like what if I just really deeply truly accepted and embraced, like I am not here for the normal way of doing any fucking thing.
Woo!
You know? Like like we were saying earlier before we started the recording, I was saying how yesterday I was like, I woke up and I was like, I've just been going. This energy's been kicking everything off for me. There's been so much to do, and I have been like having a hard time keeping up with my life.
Mhm.
And like even like getting back to people and returning
Yeah,
messages and stuff, even with you.
yeah.
So,
I
and
didn't feel that,
okay,
by the way.
good. But in my
You were good.
mind, I'm like, oh no, I didn't message her back fast enough. Oh, she had to double message me. Like, I don't like that. You know what I mean?
Oh, but that is good, isn't it? Just
Yeah.
being like, I can like let go,
Yes.
let go. I'm gonna do the thing. I'm gonna show up how I can.
Hmm.
I'm gonna let go of like giving myself a hard time because
Yes.
normally the other person is not feeling that
Exactly.
at
And I'm like, I'm making up, oh my God, Gigi's getting so annoyed with me.
all.
And you probably didn't even notice.
No, I'm just like, cool. Well, if he'll message back, or if I have to send another message, that's fine.
Yeah.
There's a kind of, I think it's like the energy you come with, though, isn't it? That then the other person feels that, oh, that because you're thinking, oh, I'm being not good,
Yes.
and that
I'm
kind
messing up. I'm messing up.
of,
Right. Yeah. And so I was like, okay, on Sunday, I always say I'm not going to work on the weekends, but then I always do. Like,
yeah, that's hard.
you know? And then I was
Yeah,
like, Sunday, I'm really not going to work. Like I did like the minimalistness,
yeah.
And then I was like disappointed because I didn't feel rested. Like I was like,
I love
well,
that
I
one.
did
Not gonna
one
do
day
anything.
off. Why
I'm
am
gonna,
I not perfectly refreshed?
yeah. That's such an important story as well, isn't it?
Yeah. And then on Monday, I woke up not feeling good, and I was like, I'm gonna be radical. I'm gonna only do, like I was telling you, only do the two things I have to do, and I'm gonna actually just rest all day. And then I
Mhm.
didn't get sick. You know,
Yeah, that's
I didn't
great.
have to get sick because I was
Yeah.
actually listening to my body, even though my brain's telling me, stop fucking around, you lazy bitch, and get to work. You know?
That is the sound, isn't it? We've all got that some kind of sort of similar expression in our heads that says that. And whoo, yeah, I mean, what a time. but I feel like kind of really supported by the fact that actually we are moving forward. And oh wow, after however many years, that has felt a bit like we've been like trudging through like
Yeah, like a mud
shit.
kind of. Yes.
I don't want to say just complete shit, but you know what I mean.
Yes,
It's
yes.
just been like this, like, and I suppose that's the Capricorn kind of earthy vibe, but there's
Yeah.
been a super challenge to it. For me anyway. I've found like
Same.
I'm coming back to myself all the freaking time, and it's just like, okay, and next, and then you move through something else, and then you're like, okay, next. Um, so I think there's an adjustment period, and I think that's what I've kind of been battling with, maybe. Oh, okay, the energy has changed now. I need to like change, but I'm still stuck in this. It's going to be like this. Uh.
Totally, totally. Yeah. And that's what I mean. I think we need to just give ourselves grace, you know,
Yeah.
because it's such a big, humongous energy change and shift,
Yeah.
you know. And then last year was just, like I said, so many layers of much more soft, gentle, feminine energy. And this year is not. It's not. It is like all systems go.
Yeah. I've had a rebellion against that.
Yeah. And I
I've
think
had a
that's
rebellion
okay.
against the Aquarius is
Yes.
going, I'm not doing what you say. I felt that actually. I
Yes.
feel like
Yes.
rebelling against the fact that there's change and we're moving a different way. And I'm like, I haven't signed up to this. You haven't asked me. Like there's definitely been a inner child like dialogue going on where I'm like, hold on a minute.
Yes. Yeah. No, I can understand that. I
Yeah.
don't have that because I know how Pluto works and I know that you don't get to say no to Pluto.
No. Well, I think that's why I like doing it because I'm like, no. And
Yeah,
then I still have to do all the things.
you gotta do it. But I mean, it's nice to pretend sometimes.
Yeah.
We of course we always have free will.
Yeah.
You don't have to do it,
Yeah. Yeah.
but if you don't, it's gonna really suck.
Yeah.
You know?
Well, those deeper things that we know we need to do for sure.
Mhm.
It's like,
But
okay.
but it's totally okay that you take your time and you find your way to like gently on board, even if the energy is really big and intense and fast, you know?
Yeah, I think that's really important to say too, because I feel like, again, we do feel the pressure to be up and out and go and on. And we have to give ourselves grace to find our rhythm, to find our flow, to find, okay, this is why it's winter. That's really the whole point. But because it's been such a fast energy, I think there's been a kind of what? What? No, we're in winter. This is not what we're doing right now. I think that's probably what my inner fight has been about.
Yes.
No, we're not in spring yet. Stop it.
Sure, settle
No.
down.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I think, okay, so let's talk about this some more. Like, how do we honor that like balance of like it is still winter wherever
Yeah.
I mean, if you're not wherever you are, but if you're on the whatever, the Western hemisphere, it's still winter,
Yeah.
you know? Um, and then also, okay, we're all feeling this big energy. If you have sun, moon, or rising in Aquarius, you're gonna feel it 10 times stronger than everybody else. Everyone's
Yeah.
feeling it, but like we're saying we're both Aquarius rising, so it's probably a little bit more like for us, right? And like part of what I'm feeling is like you said, it was the sloggy energy, and then all of a sudden the sloggy energy is gone, and everything's moving really fast, and
Mm-hmm.
it's like cool and exciting, but it's also scary and overwhelming,
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh, okay, what's happening here, you know? So I think like what we said, part of it is that first step of just being like, okay, it's okay to be in the messiness of these contrary energies pulling us in two different directions. And let's adjust our expectations of like what's going to happen right now and what it's going to look like and how productive we're going to be.
Yeah.
you know? And then just like also what we were saying before about like taking that time to like do your movement practices, get grounded, you know, I would say like do your pleasure practices, whatever that looks like for you, you know? Um, and then just like rest, sleep,
Yeah.
you know. For me, that Capricorn is in my 12th house. You too, if you're, you know, have Aquarius rising. So like half of my energy is telling me go, 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 and then the other half is telling me sleep because
Yeah,
12th house
yeah.
rules sleep and rest.
Oh, okay, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Really. That's how I've been feeling.
So it's kind of a little bit of like my sleep has been really messed up. Like today, oh, my sleep was so I've slept 7 hours, but I didn't finish getting my 7 hours till 10:30 at night. I had my 7 hours broke into three pockets of time today.
Wow.
But yeah,
That's
so,
showing that you can do things differently if you want to.
right? Exactly. And that's like a lot of times how I sleep. And like people don't understand like my weird schedule, but I'm like, this is what it is. Like I do not do any calls in the morning. And like right now, it's 2:30 in the morning for me. And
Well, you don't do them in the you do them in the earlier hours of the
yes,
morning than
yes. Like and like, you know, what your it's like 10:30 your time or something, right?
yeah.
So this is perfect for me, you know, because I'm like, I've had like other when I'm times like because you're in London and I'm in LA. So like I've had times with other people when they're international, they want to do like my morning, like 9
Yeah.
a.m. And I'm like, oh no, that's not going to work. Absolutely not. I'm going to do it the
Oh
other
no.
way around.
Oh no. No, no.
I'm like, I am knocked out at 9 a.m. I do not get up before noon if I'm happy, if I'm sleeping well. You know?
It's amazing. I think that's so important to share that because honestly, I do think that like working in the way that suits you
Mhm.
is 100% like how we can feel more ourselves. And
Yes.
I found that with myself too. Like
Mhm.
not giving myself a hard time if I'm not someone who gets up at 5 a.m. and goes for a run.
Yes. And it's like,
That is okay if you're not that kind of person.
yes, and it's like people are like, "You're never gonna be successful if you don't get up early." I'm like, "That's not true." I know so many successful people that don't get up early. Like it
Yeah,
really does zero bearing on your success. It's like,
yeah.
what are you doing with your hours?
Yes, your
You know?
efficiency
Yeah, it's
and how
not
you're
about the
feeling.
time you start.
Yeah.
I mean, if that works for you, but like I'm a night person. I've been a night person. I didn't sleep when I was a baby. I've worked
Mhm.
at night like so many years. I was a bartender, I was a waitress. I worked at UPS in the middle of the night. You know, like
Wow.
so
Is,
I don't
is that natural, or were you just like you were programming yourself to do that because you did that?
I
Or is
think
that
it's a
just how you always,
combination of both. I think
yeah.
it's like I like working all those different jobs for so many years is like really hard for me to get onto like normal time.
Yeah.
Also, like I only worked in the office in my entire life, maybe like a year.
Hmm.
You know, like I don't have that paradigm of like working 9 to 5, you know.
Yeah, yeah,
I've
yeah.
never worked a day in my life in like real corporate America.
Hmm.
So I don't
Yeah.
like, I just don't have that set point as like a reference for my body or my schedule, you know?
Hmm.
Another
Hmm.
thing is I've been studying more about neurodivergence. I have ADHD and like other things, but
Hmm.
sleep issues is a very common thing for people that have ADHD,
Hmm.
insomnia, because you get like overstimulated. It's
Yeah.
like hard for you to fall asleep, you know,
Hmm.
and I've been like that my whole life. Plus, I love the nighttime. Like, I
Yeah.
love the nighttime because it's like the energy. I'm so sensitive, right? And this
Yeah.
is me embracing the fact that I am ultra fucking sensitive. Like,
Yeah.
I can't concentrate in the daytime like I can concentrate at night.
Mhm.
Like
It's
the
true.
hum of the energy of the day and appliances and all other people thinking and moving around is
Mm-hmm.
distracting.
Hmm.
And it's
Hmm.
nighttime and it's quiet and everybody
Hmm.
else is asleep and like
Yeah.
people are not on their phones and on the computer and all the things. It's like my brain just flows so much easier. Like
Yeah.
if I want to be in my zone, my place of highest energy, I'm going to be awake at night, you know? And that's like something of like, I just have to embrace, I'm different. This is what works for me. And like,
Yeah.
stop. Like, and I'm even like embarrassed to kind of say that I don't wake up before noon because it makes me sound like I'm a lazy piece of shit. You know?
Well, that's the programming, isn't it?
Yes.
Again, that's what we're talking about, is what it's coming in going, oh well, you're this and you're that, and this is who you are. And it's like, actually that's not who I am, because I'm choosing me, which is what is who I am.
Right, right. And it's like I'm not really sleeping that much because I go to sleep between 5 and 7 a.m. usually. You know, I'm trying to scale it back to like 3 to 5.
Yeah.
But it's hard for me because I love that quiet time.
No, it goes so quick as well.
Yes.
I'm like, hold on a minute. Because I love the night. I love it for the same reasons that you do, is that it's quiet, it's peaceful. I can just be, it just feels, yeah, I feel clarity, but then I also get very tired. So I find that one difficult because I do love it, but I do get tired if I don't sleep
That's good. It's
in the evening.
normal. It's normal. Like I get tired. Like today, I got tired
Yeah.
because I didn't sleep good. I only slept like 5 hours earlier. So I was like, I'm taking a night nap. So I went to sleep at 9 p.m. and took my night nap and I woke up at 10:30.
Honestly, it really doesn't matter,
It
does it?
doesn't matter. And it's especially, it's like I get to choose my hours. I get to choose when
Yeah.
I'm available, when I'm not available.
Yeah, you do get to choose. That's again a really important learning. Is like, oh, I get to choose.
Hmm.
Okay. If you're doing your own, if you're wanting to do your own business or run your own business or work, part-time and then do your business the rest of the time, like you can do that.
Hmm.
Absolutely can do that. It's about, yeah, really being true to what works for you. I feel, again, that's such a message that's coming through about this Aquarius energy.
Yes, yes.
And communicating that, like us having this conversation, like we're communicating it rather than just keeping it in and being like, oh, this is what I do. This is what I do. And I
Yeah.
kind of feel bad about it. But
Yeah.
the
Because
more that
it's
we're
like,
kind of sharing it to each
exactly.
other,
You
it's
see
like,
me like
oh, yeah,
saying it out loud to you. I'm like, oh,
yeah,
okay. It's
I know
actually
it's,
fine that I do this. Okay.
yeah.
It's actually
Here's the
fine that I do what
message.
works for me. All right.
Yeah. Gosh, it's such a message right now. I'm like, we just all need to be talking more about the
Yes.
things that we're kind of afraid to say as well, and
Mhm.
just get it out like into the space and less
Yes.
just internally going,
Yes.
about.
Like when I was talking to one of my clients today, I was doing reading for her, and she's like super productive and like she does all these things, she's got like a lot going on. And
Hmm.
she told me like, yeah, when I wake up in the morning, I just stay in bed for like 2 hours. And I was like, you do? Just made me feel so good because I'm always like, what's wrong with me? I need to get it together faster. But I like to just lay in bed in the morning or whatever my morning is, the
Hmm.
afternoon, and like think and just feel what I'm feeling and then
Yeah.
journal and meditate and like
Yeah.
maybe do some yoga, maybe not, maybe just roll around in my bed a little bit. Like in my ideal way of how I wanted to start my day, that's what I want to do. But I feel like, oh, that's too indulgent. That's too
Hmm.
much spaciousness.
Yeah.
And when she said that, I was like, okay, well, she does it.
Yeah.
I can do it. I could do that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because I don't usually give myself permission. I'm like, oh, okay, I'm awake. I should start being productive.
Yeah.
But I
Yeah.
don't let myself take that time that would probably set my day up to be like such a win. But since I'm feeling like judging myself that I'm not awake earlier. It's like now you can't wake up at noon and then start 2 hours
No.
later. And I'm like, I actually can.
Yeah, no, no, you can. If that's how you work the best, as well, you
Yes.
absolutely can. I think the morning for me is about stillness,
Mhm.
100%, and peace, and
Mhm.
finding that in myself. Because if you're just rushing off
Mhm.
with this intent to just do stuff,
Mhm.
you know, where are you in that? I found that to be really important for myself, to center myself, to kind of like let go of everything that's been kind of moving in the dream time state or whatever from the previous day, and to just be like, okay, where am I now? Where am I arriving? How can I support that in a holistic way? It's a very whole experience to start the day and kind of be really connected to your body and what you're thinking and your desires. And that can then focus your energy, well, for me anyway, much easier once I've kind of like worked through all of that and I'm,
Yeah.
oh, okay, here I am. Let's go.
Yes, yes. Like you're fueling yourself and you're setting
Yeah.
yourself up to win, you know, and it's like, oh, like I actually can give myself that gift every day, you know?
Yeah.
It's actually like a boundary issue.
Mm.
And for me, that's like one of my edges, you know?
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
And I know that like to me, one of the fastest ways to create more success is to like get cleaner and tighter with your boundaries, you know?
Yeah. Yeah.
And it's like instead of me waking up and thinking about all the list of things that I need to do or feeling like, oh, I have to respond to this email right now. Like, is it really going to make any difference if I respond now or 2 hours from now? Like, what difference is it
Yeah. Oh,
really
oh,
going to make?
100%. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
You know? Or like, I need to do this thing right this minute. Actually, no, there's no reason that it has to be now and instead of an hour or 2 hours later.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Exactly.
It's like this false urgency of feeling like other people need me to do these things. Other people need these responses from me. When
Yeah.
like as we said, I'm making up like, oh my gosh, you were upset that I didn't message you back earlier and you didn't even notice.
Yeah. We're like, we're having this constant conversation in our own mind. It's not at all what's happening with anyone else.
Right, right. And we're like, oh, we're just like imagining that everyone else is just like, you know, or I'm imagining that these people are getting
Yeah.
so mad and upset about things and like no one actually is.
Yeah.
You know? And
I
even
think,
if like, go ahead.
no, I was just going to say, and if we all work on that individually, then we're all like being so much more compassionate and present to
Yes,
when things do go wrong or something.
exactly.
We can be there and be like, oh, okay, let's sort this out, rather than
Yes,
like wasting all of our energy on just going, oh my gosh, but if they're this and they're thinking this and I'm not doing this, and it's just like, whoa, none of
exactly.
that is happening right
None
now.
of it's happening. None of it's happening. And then, like you said, it's like that, all that's like, you know, is so draining. And that's
Okay.
like, that's taking away from energy that you have to like live your life and build your business and just like enjoy who you are, you know?
Mhm. Yeah. I think that's a great place to end, unless you have had anything else to say, but that was very full.
It was. I just wanted to say a few things about the astrology.
Oh, yeah.
Um, so
Oh,
last
actually,
time,
can I just also say that if people want to also share their messiness, I really want to invite
I
that
would
in,
love that. That would make me
under
so
the comment,
happy.
wherever we post this, please, like, this is an invitation from our hearts, because I feel it so powerfully from just doing that myself and just feeling into this energy of collaboration and kind of liberation. So
Mhm.
yeah, please do. We'd love that.
Yes, absolutely. Share your messiness with us. That will be such a gift.
Would such a gift.
Mhm. So I just wanted to revisit. So last time we got together was in November,
Mm,
around November. And
yeah.
I was talking about how Mars, the Mars Cazimi and Mars in the heart of the sun in Scorpio was setting the tone for the next 2 years, right? And so Mars is the planet of drive, ambition, it's masculine, it's sex, it's strategy, right? And then it
Mhm,
was in the sign of Scorpio. Scorpio is a feminine sign, but it is also one of the signs that's associated with Mars,
mhm,
or under Mars's rulership. So Scorpio is death, sex, regeneration, It's like underworld energy. It's the sign that goes with Pluto, right?
Mm-hmm.
So that is setting the 2-year tone. And also, we were talking about Scorpio. It's like bringing things to light, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like, 'cause it's like the underworld and bringing things to light. And then we had that same kind of energy being paralleled with the Pluto Sun conjunctions that happened right as Pluto was moving into Aquarius. So Pluto and the Sun were conjunct the last degree of Capricorn, and then they were conjunct right after that in the 0 degree of Aquarius. So there's just been this like strong mirroring of the energy of the light shining, of the scorpionic energy, and
Mm-hmm.
the push and the fire of the Mars. Um, and then we just had Mars rising. So when the thing that we talked about last time, the Mars cazimi happens,
Mm-hmm.
Mars kind of starts to go out of the line of sight. It goes underground. You can't see it. And then now it's just come and it's come. Mars has risen, and that happened a few days ago. So, and it's risen in Capricorn, which is another sign that it's exalted in. So that's
Mm-hmm.
also amplifying that Martian male aggressive push energy. That's
Yeah.
adding another layer to the Pluto Aquarius intensity.
Oh.
And then on top of that, Uranus, which is the ruling planet
Mm-hmm.
of Aquarius, just came out of retrograde a few days ago. And
Mm-hmm.
that was the last planet that was in retrograde. So we have
Mm-hmm.
all and every planet direct now. So that's
Mm-hmm.
another thing that's like the energy's moving
Yeah.
fast. So I just
Forward.
wanted to kind of touch on a few of the astrological current energetic happenings to preface
Mm-hmm.
why the current energy might be like feeling so intense
Yeah.
in some
Yeah.
of those layers. You know,
Yeah.
there's more, but that's enough for this purpose,
Yeah.
the purposes of this conversation. You know,
Yeah. It's so good. Astrology is, again, it's very interesting just to have these kind of touch points.
yeah, one of my clients said she likes it because it makes her feel like she's not crazy. Because she's like,
Yeah.
oh, that's the stars. Like it's not, I like not like it's not me, but like everything that's happening with me makes sense instead of like I'm just a crazy person, you know?
Yeah. Yeah. Again, it's kind of working with everything. It's kind of community again, because it's
Yeah.
but how are we being affected by our environment, and how can then we then work with that? And
Mhm.
yeah, I really, oh, I feel like that's a really good message to just be more, or exploring more of what that means to you in community, and how you feel nourished by community, and just kind of leaning into that um isolation of self, whether or not you're in community, but how can I open more to community? How can I feel less isolated and more together with the people around me? And, really nurturing yourself, and instead of, yeah, just feeling like you're struggling inside, which I think, is the human journey, isn't it? It's
Totally.
kind of like, okay, open,
Mhm.
instead of like really yeah, shutting off from the love and everything that's available to us, because it is available to us.
Mhm.
Just like really tuning in and saying yes to that. And
Yeah.
yeah.
And I do think that what you're saying, that willingness and that ability to be open and to lean in also like to life and community as kind of like I don't know the like as an avenue to creating that and making it easier
Yeah.
that as you open that's also grounding
Yeah. Yeah.
that because then it's like like as you open then you're able to like let go of all this
Yeah.
interference and extra whatever, like around the edges, you know?
Yeah, definitely. I love that. Oh, thank you.
Thank you. That was fun as usual.
I know. It's just so great.
Yeah.
Oh,
All right.
well,
Well, everyone remember, tell us your messiness. We want to hear
yes,
all about it.
we'd love to.
Yes. Well, thanks for having me.
Yeah, I love it. And again, I always share the links to get in touch with Umoh and myself, and just really yeah, inviting conversation, and really
Mhm.
inviting like embodied conversation as well, which this was. So yay!
Yeah.
Sending lots of love.
Yes. Mwah. Thanks, everybody.
Thanks.
Bye.
Bye.